Hi, I'm Laurie, and welcome to Colorful Creative Watercolors. And today we're going to paint that sunflower. For those that are watching, if you want the outline, the sketch to the sunflower, you can join my Facebook group, Watercolor Brushstrokes and Blunders. I'd be glad to see you there, and you can get the free outline. So anyway, we're going to start right into this watercolor. I already traced it using my light box, and I have it on this tape down there with my painter's tape. So right now in the center of the disc, I gave it a clean water wash, and now I'm just dotting it in, like the stippling it in with some brown paint. The only color paints you'll need for this would be some sort of a brown, green. I used an olive green. I used Van Dyke brown. I used cadmium yellow, and then I used another type of yellow as well. So, so we are just filling that in there and just letting that wet on wet. Uh, Then next we're going to go down to the stem. Up after I do that, we're going to do this first. Fill that in a little bit more. We're going to go around that disc around there. Sorry, I'm doing a voiceover on this, and I forgot about this part. So I hope you're all doing well. All right. Now we're probably going to give that brush a real good rinse and get some clear water. And I think now we're going to do the stem. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to wet that with clear water. And then we're going to do wet on wet again with the green going down the stem. Just going to dot that in there. And I'm doing a light wash to begin with because you always want to start light because then you're going to layer. We're going to do some layers here. So we'll keep filling that in. And then next we'll work on the leaves. We'll do the same thing. We'll do a wash. And then we'll drop in some of that green paint. And just what I did was after I traced it, I have it dark so you can see, but I prefer to have my lines very light. So I did try to erase some of them, give it a light erase, because I really don't want to see a lot of those lines when I'm done. Anyway, so we're just dropping that green paint in there. And now I went a little heavier, and the same color green, I just went a little heavier, because look how that'll spread out, and that'll really give some definition to those leaves. And I'm just like dropping it in, stippling it in, giving that leaf some definition. See these little bubbles there? They'll dissipate. The bubbles will dissipate. So now I'm just giving it a little smudge here and there, because I want to create those little spiky things that come off the end of the sunflower leaves. And I am using a number 6 and a number 2 paintbrush today. Oops, looks like it froze up there a little bit. Now we're going to go a little bit darker in there because that's going to be where a shadow is. And I do want that to become a little bit darker to give that effect of shadowing in there. Because those leaves are, sort of covering. It's kind of behind the leaves. And we'll do more of that after that part dries. And then next we will more than likely work on the petals of the sunflower, and there's quite a bit of them, which is why it took this video a little bit longer than I wanted it to, uh, with the length of, how many flowers there are, and the blending and the shading and all that, and the layering and all that good stuff. So here we go. We're going to start off with the leaves. I'm going to start up on the top because I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. Plus, I need to watch my arm there and my freshly green painted stem and leaves. So we're just doing those, and I'm doing every other one at the moment. Excuse me, I'm not sure what I have in my throat. So yes, as I said in the beginning, this outline, if you want this outline, I would be more than happy to have you join my watercolor brushes and blunders, or brush strokes and blunders on Facebook. It's a new group that I just started, and it's a private group. You have to answer a few questions to get in, but I want it to be a safe place and a place where we can chat, show our artwork, learn some things. I give out freebies in there, and I'll be doing, demonstrations in there just for the Facebook group. This one will be public because this will go along with the blog. I also blog called Colorful Creative Watercolors. And I am writing a blog on how to, watercoloring a sunflower. So I want to include this video in with my blog post. So we're still doing those leaves. Now, at the time of this recording, it's winter time, not a whole lot of sunflowers around, although I live in Florida, so I'm pretty fortunate. It's been chilly, though, but I don't have to worry about the snow. I moved here from Pennsylvania, and I don't miss the snow. So we'll continue on with those leaves, and I am doing wet on dry. I did not, we didn't do a wash on these. And I think I just discovered I did the wrong leaf. I got mixed up there with the, but that's okay. We'll fix that. We'll fix that. So as we go around to continue just painting that in. If you need to slow down the video or speed up the video on YouTube here, you can hit the speed player. So if you want to speed it up, you can go right ahead. You don't have to hear me chatter. I know a lot of people don't like to hear a lot of chatter, but I also don't like to have a lot of silence either. So we'll keep getting those leaves filled in. Those petals, I mean. Years ago, I used to grow sunflowers, and I just love them. I actually, once the sunflowers were done blooming, and I took the heads off and would harvest the seeds. Some of them I would leave the seeds on for the birds. I'd lay them down under the bird feeders. But okay, let me just stop here. Now I'm going in the in-between petals, and I'm doing a little bit of a wash in there because I want to get that drop that paint in and get that look for the back of those. But anyway, I would take the stalks of the sunflowers, and I would dry them out, and they kind of reminded me of bamboo. So then from there, I created little trellises in my garden. Once they were dried out, I used twine and the sunflower stalks, the dried out sunflower stalks, and made trellises. And it was pretty cool. I really liked it. So you see how I'm just dropping that paint in there? Now it's a much darker yellow. It's almost orangey looking on the video. So just dropping that in, giving it a little bit of character. These are the petals that are behind. The first ones we painted were the ones that were the front and the disc florets, you want to call them. These are the outer or the back florets coming out that we're doing the wash on. But it's your painting. You can actually do what you want to do. You may not paint like I do, and that's fine. I'm just giving you an example of how I'm painting this particular sunflower. Now, flowers like this aren't really my style of painting, but I thought we'll just, just for fun, we'll paint a sunflower. I normally like to do landscapes, And I've done animals, and I have done flowers. I do like to do flowers freehand without um, without a template. But for the purposes of this video, we did use a template. Now, at this point, you're probably looking at it and be like, oh my gosh, what's she doing there? Doesn't make sense. But when you're watercoloring, most of the time until you're finished, you'll be looking at your painting and be going, what's happening here? But that's where the detail in the end comes in. And but right now we're just putting in our layers, because there's going to be several more layers on top of this, which is why this video is 40 minutes long. So I'm just going down through, pulling some of that down a little bit because it seemed to want to pull up at the tips of the petals. So I'm just, oh, I don't know what happened there. Alrighty, and we're back. And yeah, so I'm just kind of pulling it around there. But like I said, you're painting, you paint it however you like. Paint your sunflower. This is just an idea of what you can do. Plus, I like, you know, for the purposes of the video, is to show the different techniques you can use. The wet on wet, the wet on dry. We'll be doing some stippling in here. We'll be doing some lifting and some scrubbing, and yeah. So I try to pick things where I can show different techniques in one painting. It makes it good practice as we go along. So yes, there's a lot of flowers, petals on this here. And like I said, if you want to speed forward, go ahead. I'm pretty much going to be doing the same thing all the way around. Or you can just stay here and listen to me chatter. I usually always have something to say. Anyway, what I was saying about living in Florida, let me go back to that. I live here in Central Florida, and I don't miss the snow from Pennsylvania. I lived in Amish country, believe it or not, right in the heart. Lancaster County is where I'm from. And I'm enjoying the weather down here. Now, we have had some cold weather. It looks like, oh, there we go. I thought we froze up there. We've had some chilly weather here. It's like at night it does get down into the 50s. We've been having to have our heat turned on. So it's chilly. It's why I have a sweater on. It's chilly. During the day when if the sun's out, you know, it might say it's 70 degrees, but it'll feel warmer out. And we're soon going to be done with these petals. And if you missed it before, I am using a number 6 brush. And I also have a number 2 brush, which I'll use at some point in here as well. Those are the two size brushes, either a number 6 or a number 8 round, and a number 2 round. Those are my go-to sizes for paintbrushes. I do like using those. Now, if I'm doing different types of painting, sometimes I'll use a bigger brush, like for a bigger wash or things like that. But these are the size brushes I recommend that you start with. And I really don't have a preference at this point to tell you what brand to get. You know, you just want to have some decent mid-range price brushes. You don't want the cheapest because they don't keep their shape. They lose their little the hairs and all that. I don't recommend them because I did start out with those and I was a little disappointed. So I did kind of go up into a mid-range brush just because they last longer. But you don't need to go out. You don't need to go out and purchase expensive brushes, unless you want to. That's up to you. The paints I'm using are pan paints. It's a set that my son got me for Christmas a couple years ago. Okay, now I'm taking that brown and I just have less water, more pigment, and I'm stippling. That's what we call just dotting that in. I'm stippling that in. Give that illusion of the seeds starting to grow in there. And I want to go up and around that disc to keep it to keep that disc's shape around the center of the sunflower. And darken it up in there. Because if you look at a picture of a sunflower, it does get dark in there around those petals. Because it's the way however the sun hits and the shading is, and you just want to make sure. Plus, I don't want to have too much light color showing through because that wouldn't really be true. All right. We're going to head back to the leaves while that dries up there and the petals dry. And now I'm just giving a little bit more detail, more definition, not so much detail, but more definition to the leaves, some more color. Say the actual detail comes, that's like one of the last things you do. Okay, I got cut off there. Okay, so the detail's the last thing you do. You start off by you trace your make your trace your image if that's how you're going to paint, and then you lay down your first layer, and then you have your second layers, which we're working on now, and then once all that's dry, that's when you work on the detail. That's usually the last thing, but I'm still trying to add in some of the shading. We want to make that a little darker in there. Not sure why this video freezes up every once in a while. Anyway, okay. So we're just trying to make that, give that stem, give him a little character, and get up in there. So now I'm going to take some of that green paint mixed with the brown and stipple that in there as well. Because when I looked at the center of a sunflower, you can see sometimes the little green like sprouts coming out in the center where some of the seeds are going to grow. So I thought, well, I'm going to mix some of that green in there. You can't really tell from this point, and actually you can't really, it doesn't really show up so green even in the actual picture, but it does give another element to it. Okay, now what I'm doing is I'm lifting. I'm just trying to lift that. Some of that brown had spread up into the yellow, so I want to lift some of that out of there. And all I do with lifting is I wet my brush, I clean my brush off, and then I wipe it on a paper towel, and then go down with a clean, not dry, but just damp, not drippy wet, just a dry, a clean damp brush, and that helps with pulling that, getting rid of some of that extra paint that seeped up in there. So now I'm just adding some more layers of paint because I want to give some character to the petals. Oh, I believe at this point I am sorry about that. I am putting on an actual yellowy yellow paint, because it was starting to look a little too orange for me. So I thought, well, I'm going to put some yellow on top of that. There we go. So I believe now we're going to soon cut over. I'm going to get the hair dryer and I'm going to dry some of that a little bit, because it's pretty wet there in the center and on the petals and even on the stem and the leaves. So I believe that's coming up here shortly. Anyway, our flower's starting to take some shape, have its own little look. And just, you know, when I do flowers, I don't make them like, I'm not I don't know, like a realism type of painter. I don't make it look like it was just plucked from the garden. It is, you know, just more of a loose, casual watercolor. So I think I'm grabbing for the hair dryer. I thought I cut this part out. I guess I did not. There we go. I did it. And I had to retape down because guess what? My hair dryer dried my, loosened my tape. So I'm just retaping it down. I lost the stickiness to it. Okay. Just checking to see that it's dry. It is. And now we can put a little more detail on here. All right, at this point, I grabbed some more paint, and now I'm giving them some, a little bit more definition on the flower, so it doesn't look like it's just flat there on the paper. So I'm just adding another color, or the same color, just another layer of it, but just in certain areas of the petal. Hopefully, I will be able to get a better system of painting overhead. Right now, this is what I have, and this is what we'll use. So I'm putting some more of that yellow on there. Because like I said, we have to give it some character. Give it another layer. And that way, when you have multi-layers, it gives it more depth, more dimension, more, like it's just not a flat picture on the paper. I apologize for the background noise. All right. Now we're going back into the center of the disc. And I do believe if I move my hand, yes, I know what I'm doing. So where those inner disc florets meet the disc, I'm giving it a little bit of a darker color there to look like it's coming out of the center of the disc. And then I also want to kind of also define the rest of the circle as well, and then we will do some more stippling in the center with the darker color because it still is a little bit too light for a sunflower center disc because they're usually a very dark brown. Now, if you haven't skipped ahead, you can see how I'm filling that in there with the darker color paint, the darker brown, because what it's doing there is giving it more, uh, another layer, another, dimension to that center disc. And it's starting to look like a sunflower. Yeah, we're just about done with that. I kind of like the way that looks. It almost looks like it's coming out of the center. Now it's time to work on those leaves. We need to give them the veins, and so what I did was I just took the same color green. It's just less water, more pigment. Right now I'm drawing it in, and you see I have I'm flicking up there, making those veins. And then what I'll do next is I will clean my brush off and I will dampen it a little bit, and then I will, look there. So I'm just moving that paint to make the line a little bit thinner there in the center. And what it does, it creates a little bit of a shadow there to make it look like it's kind of like going down in. Or popping up. Because it has all the veins on the, I guess on that side of the leaf, they go down in. So we're just giving the leaves a little more 3D look. And like I said, the paintbrush is just clean water that I wiped, on a paper towel, and then I'm just going back and forth, as you can see, along those lines and just kind of making those lines a little bit thinner. And now I did pull some paint, and we need to make it so it looks like it's coming out of the stem. So you'll see here in a second. You see how I put that little line there? And then I will do the same thing there. I will take my brush back, a clean, damp brush back and forth. Oh, now I'm also doing more shadow on the stem, at the top of the stem behind those flowers. So it looks like the flowers aren't flat against the stem. It's like a little bit of a shadow there. All right. Now, same thing for on the stem. If you've ever, looked at the stalk of a sunflower, there's little like bumps and ridges in it. So once again, I'm going to take the with clean water and just kind of define those little lines there to make them look like they're, raising up a little bit. Now back to the leaves. I'm going to be doing pretty much the same thing. I'm giving them a little scrub to push some of that color back to make it look like there's like a wrinkle in it in the in the leaf, in the stem. I don't know why I keep calling them leaves. In the stem. And I don't know why this video continues to freeze up. So yeah, we'll do that with each petal. So once again, if you haven't skipped ahead and you want to skip ahead, go right ahead, because we're going to do this same technique the whole way around. So I'll have to move that a little bit because it's kind of hard doing it from the side. I do find in this position when I'm painting, which is why I need to really find a better way to video, is I find myself painting in a position that it's not that it's not comfortable. It's I don't get the result that I want to get. So I was worried about that brown paint kind of seeping up on the back of those flowers, but I don't mind it because I think it looks like it's giving it a shadow. See, we're just giving those leaves some character. I mean petals. Oh my goodness, how many times am I going to call them leaves? You can tell I'm pretty much a novice at making these recordings and these videos, because I was trying to figure out on here how I can actually speed it up. I don't have to do a whole lot of talking and have it go just a little bit faster. But then I'm thinking, okay, well, you also have that option on YouTube where you can go down and hit the playback speed. You can change it. You can slow it. You can make it faster. You can pause it. You can shut it off. You can do whatever you want. But I'm hoping you'll paint along with me. And like I said, if you want the template, the outline, you can join my Facebook group, which is Watercolor, Brushstrokes, and Blunders, because it's pretty much for new people that are new to watercoloring, and we go over the basics. And so I put the templates on there. And like I said, in this actual video is for a blog post that I'm doing. And I'm sorry if you already heard me say this before, but it's for a blog post I'm doing on watercoloring a sunflower. And I thought, oh, how fun would it be to have a video to go with it? Why not? Since I'm such a pro. And I joke on that because I'm not. But this is my third video, because I might have two listed, but one is for a free download that I have on my website at www.colorfulcreativewatercolors.com. You can go on there and download a free workbook on creating line and wash drawings, but it also gives you like an introduction to watercolors. So I'd be happy if you go there and download that, get on my email newsletter list, because I do like to give things away. All right, we are just about done. We have about 6 minutes left of this video. I guess I'm doing some finishing touches on there. Oh yeah, I'm going to scrub some of that down. It was a little too dark, but I still do like how it looks like it's being shaded, coming out of there. I'm very happy with the center of the disc. I feel that it looks like it's round and possibly, being, curved like the center of a sunflower would be. Not so flat. And I think we are just about soon done. Just getting those final details in there. You always want to sit back, look at your painting, see where you can add a little bit more detail. I think the details are fun. I think the whole thing is fun. I love to watercolor. I love the whole process of it. Oh, okay. My brush is uh, pretty much. Uh, did I wet that? Let me see. Yeah, I think I'm just kind of smoothing things out now. My brush isn't completely wet. I mean, it's damp. I was just like smoothing it out. Just getting that last little bit of detail in there. Sometimes I have a problem with I need to remember when to stop. It's like I'm having such a good time and it's like, okay, stop putting paint on, let it go. And you may find that you do that too. Sometimes you just have to tell yourself, okay, stop. You're done. But obviously, I don't feel that I'm done. So there we go. Going back around that disc just to make sure it's looking. I don't want it perfectly round because I want to have those the way those leaves, those petals are coming out of it. But just that those details. Got to have those details. And then as I finish up here, I'm more than likely going to air dry this, or not air dry, blow dry it with the blow dryer, because there still are some pencil marks that I could see that I didn't cover with paint. Now, just so you know, any pencil marks that you do cover with paint are very hard to remove. But there are pencil marks on there, I don't know if you can see them or not, that need to be erased. So, I'm taking the tape off. And then I think I'm going to um, take my eraser and go around and erase around the petals any pencil line that was still left on there. And just a trick, when you're pulling off your tape, you don't want to just rip it off, because what happens is it can pull your paper off as well. As a rule, before I put the tape down, I usually run my fingers over the sticky part just to make it a little less sticky. But then you saw what happened when I had the hairdryer the first time. It lifted up, but that's okay. So it looks like we are done. And I really want to thank you for watching. I hope you paint along with me. And always don't forget to sign your work, which I will do. Oh, there's the outline on the bottom there. That's on my light box. I hope you paint along with me. I hope you come to my website, www.colorfulcreativewatercolors.com, and join my Facebook group, Watercolor, Brushstrokes, and Blunders. And I would love to see you there. There I am, signing my work. And thank you all for watching. And remember, stay colorful, stay creative, and have fun. There it is. It's all finished.